everybody. Today we are making blueberry pie filling. We're going to be canning it today. This is another project. So I've already got everything started. Similar ingredients to the apple pie. This time I did not double the recipe. You have to blanch these. This is about 14 cups of blueberries. I actually used frozen blanchberries because it was going to be easier for me to measure it out. And so I think there's a little blueberry that's escaped in here. So what we're going to do is keep stirring this. And we've already washed our jars. I got about 7 quarts. I got my little helper here with me. My other helper is taking a nap, so I'm going to try to do this while she's asleep. So we're just waiting for the liquid to get warm. Once it's warm, we're going to mix the berries in here and then spoon them into the jars. Processing time for these, if you are pressure canning them, is about 8 minutes. If you're going to water bath can them, it will be about 30 minutes with the jars fully submerged. Okay, so now I've got the filling done. So you're supposed to mix the blueberries in. It's nice and thick. So we're going to keep giving this a good stir because it's very thick at the bottom. I'm also using coconut sugar, which is brown. So it's going to make your mixture brown if you use coconut sugar. Do not be surprised by this. So I made a mistake when I was making the apple pie filling the last time. I had the heat on too long and it almost created this gelatin. So this time I knew when to turn the heat off. You just wait for it to start feeling thicker. This was a little easier than the apples because I didn't have to peel them and cut them. So we're going to keep stirring this a little bit more. And now I'm going to start spooning this into the jars. I won't fill them as deep this time because I think that was my mistake last time. So this is a nice consistency right here. It's very thick. You should feel some resistance. And we're going to go ahead and start spooning this into the jars. One thing that you're going to want to make sure that you're doing is leaving enough head space in the jar. This was the issue I had with the apple filling, is that I think I filled these jars too high. So you don't want to go higher than this line. This is where you want to absolutely have the maximum. So I don't have these jars filled up all the way. Don't forget, you're still going to need to use your bubbler tool and all of these things to prevent air bubbles from flowing up. So we're going to keep filling the jar. Okay, so I've got enough for 4 jars. I've got a very little bit left, but I don't want to overfill the jars like I did last time. So what I'm probably going to do is freeze that little bit, and if somebody wants to have that on ice cream or something, they can. Okay, so we've got, we let it vent for 10 minutes. We're waiting for it to get to about 10 pounds of pressure. We are going to process this for about 8 minutes. There are some recipes that say to process it on 6 pounds of pressure, but my gauge is 10 pounds. So I basically combined 2 recipes here in terms of like timing. I sprinkled a little cinnamon, but you basically, for the filling part, you need about 4 cups of water. It says to reserve some of the blueberry juice from when you boil the blueberries. I did a little bit of that. I added 4 cups of water, 1 1/3 cups of clear gel, 3 1/3 cups of coconut sugar, a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And then I sprinkled a dash of cinnamon in there. You whisk that together and you put the blanched blueberries back in there and spoon it in the jar. So we're gonna see how this turns out. But it started to smell pretty good already before they even went into the canning, the pressure canner. Okay, so they came out really well. So they look beautiful. Look at that, guys. This is so amazing. They're really hot. They're just starting to pop down now. I processed them for about 8 minutes. Look how gorgeous they are. It's like almost a black color, but I used coconut sugar so it would make it darker. But this is 4 quarts of blueberry pie filling. It's going to be absolutely delicious. So hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next video.